Trey Lance? Welcome to the NFL.
This is the guy you trade up additional picks for.
And let's put it this way, velocity is not an issue for Lance.
You look at this kid's speed, I don't see a safety covering. I don't see a linebacker covering.
That's how incredibly athletic and skilled Kyle Pitts is.
Brennan looking for him on the slant, and it is caught! Touchdown LSU, Terrace Marshall. Perkins is going to hand the ball off. They're not going to get it. So that's Gregory Rousseau.
Farley is Harris, and now running down the sideline.
Already tell, today's going to be a little different. Welcome into Mock Draft Live. I'm Colleen Wolfe with Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, and MJD is here to reveal his most recent masterpiece, his Mock 2.0. MJD, are they ready for it? How does one prepare for greatness?
You know what, Colleen? Normally I try to come out and swing for the fences, right? Home run on the first pitch. I don't care. But today, I said, you know what? Let's just do exactly what's going to happen in the draft. Every team is going to go out there and make the picks that I showed you, and this is going to go. It's going to be flawless. It's just a flawless draft.
I'm very excited to strategy. I love it. Let's get it rolling, MJD, with a team I've never heard you actually talk about before, the Jaguars and their fiance Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, well, listen, this has been going on since December, so it wouldn't even be smart of me. I wouldn't even be able to say I went to UCLA if I didn't put him at number one. We all know about this. Talking to people in the building, everyone's excited. Urban Meyer's come out and said this is where we're going. And so even in the ticket office, they can't say Trevor Lawrence, but they can say number 16 is going to be the guy. So it looks like Trevor Lawrence is the guy.
Yeah, look, this is an easy one, MJD. You got it right. I thought there was a chance you might go Najee Harris here, but I think you made the right call here with Trevor Lawrence, number one to your Jags.
The Jags' first ever number one pick. I have a feeling Duval is going to love Lawrence. Now, the second team in the quarterback sweepstakes, the Jets, land Zach Wilson to lead the way, MJD.
Yeah, again, this offense, I call this the Matt LaFleur effect. He gets Aaron Rodgers in this offense, this Shanahan offense. All of a sudden, everybody wants the Rams trade for Matthew Stafford. The Jets are fortunate enough to be at the number 2 spot to get a live arm in Zach Wilson, and I think they take him.
Hey, I think this is absolutely the right move for the Jets. You talked about an athletic playmaker at the position. You're bringing back Aaron Rodgers and what he was able to do for the Packers. I think Mike LaFleur wants to have his version of Aaron Rodgers. He may get that in Zach Wilson.
So Wilson is going to try his best, Joe Namath, to turn around what's been the worst pass offense in the entire league since 2018. Now, I don't want to assume anything here, MJD, but with Wilson gone, does that mean Fields is playing in San Francisco next season?
You know what, Colleen? I'll let you just talk about it. I love Justin Fields, what he's able to do, but yes, I mean, they're just going to show it anyways. Yes, Justin Fields goes to San Fran. If San Fran's in win now mode, and if Jimmy Garoppolo can't get you over the hump, why not go get a guy who's played in multiple big games, has multiple starts, and has been the top quarterback since high school, right? So he has that pedigree of being a 5-star recruit in high school, goes to Georgia, doesn't work out, goes to Ohio State, takes his team to the national championship game, and he plays in the big game. To me, this only makes sense that Justin Fields is the guy here for the Niners.
MJD, to me, I think you get Fields or Trey Lance. I think they could take this offense to new heights, take it to somewhere it hasn't been before with their athleticism. I would lean Lance over Fields, but I'm good with Fields in this spot. Unfortunately, everything I continue to hear is that this looks like it is going to be Mac Jones. We'll wait and see, but I'm definitely okay with Fields with your pick here.
You know, DJ, you talk about Lance or Fields with Fields in this offense. You think about the easy completions that are created off the play action. You think about the multiplicity of the wing backs and the multi-faceted playmakers that they have on the outside, and Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. You now have a dynamic playmaker at quarterback that can run the football. Man, Kyle Shanahan can draw up all kinds of crazy stuff to keep defensive coordinators up at night.
Fields' second pro day coming up this week, and as Tom Pelissero reported, he'll be incorporating some Kyle Shanahan staples into his script. Him and quarterback Trey Lance will both do that for the Niners. But Bucky, remind me of your quarterback rankings. Where does Fields fit in? Is he your third best? Or?
No, I have him right behind Trevor Lawrence. So in my mind, I think this is a nice pick because, look, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, I think you're splitting hairs. I think both of these guys are really talented, and I would throw Trey Lance in that conversation. To me, it comes down to fit. And what do you want to do on offense, and does this player fit? I think Justin Fields fits a lot of those offenses. He is a wild player. He has tremendous talent. Reminds me a lot of what we've seen from Josh Allen and Josh Allen's evolution in Buffalo.
Yeah, Bucky, for me, Justin Fields is right there, number one. He's the top quarterback for me in this draft. I know a lot of people will say I'm crazy, but when you watch a lot of what he's able to do, he goes through progressions throughout the pocket. He does a lot of things that some of these colleges don't ask their quarterback to do. And for me, it's about starts and playing in big games. Yes, Trevor Lawrence has more starts and he's played in bigger games. But in those big games, I felt Trevor Lawrence ran more than he tried to throw, where we see Justin Fields winning from the pocket. And as we know, the NFL is about winning from the pocket. You have to be able to throw in that pocket and be able to protect people. And so I think Justin Fields has that ability.
So Fields is the third quarterback in as many picks. Not since '99 have we seen three quarterbacks go off the top like this, 1, 2, 3. The '90s furious comeback, it continues. But let's get back to the top five here. MJD has the first non-quarterback to the Falcons, and I know you love this guy more than anyone.
Yeah, for me, listen, this is a Folgers pick. You know, you wake up in the morning, if you're the Falcons, you're like, we got Kyle Pitts. Now we can build this team, continue to build this team. Matt Ryan has 2 years left on his contract. And then we can go draft a quarterback and put him into a already ready team. To have the opportunity to get this type of playmaker and put him at tight end will open up everything and everyone on that team.
Well, I think he's the second best player in the draft. I think he would be dynamic for them. You put him in there with Matt Ryan. To me personally, though, as much as I love Kyle Pitts, if I have a high enough grade on one of these quarterbacks, with your starter going into age 36 season and you're picking up there in the top 5, if you've got the grade on the quarterback, in my opinion, you got to take him.
A tight end, 4th overall. It's never happened. I'm here for the history, though. Let's see it. Now, Cincinnati, they're on the clock, and they protect last year's investment, Joe Burrow, with the top offensive tackle, MJD.
Yeah, I just don't know how you can pass this up. I don't know how you can mess this up if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. It's very simple. We need to protect our quarterback. He was hit too much last year, ends up getting hurt out for the season. Let's protect our quarterback with the best left tackle in this draft. And to me, he's a mauler. He's nasty. He's a finisher. I need all that. Give me some more.
Hey, I like this. If you think about the Cincinnati Bengals, they're opening up the Ring of Honor. The first player to go into it, Anthony Munoz. Well, this gives them a player who has similar pedigree in terms of being a big, dominant player on the edge. You just don't see guys at 330 pounds who can dance like a bear, but also have the ability to really play nasty on the perimeter. I think this would be a great pick for Cincinnati. If you want to protect Joe Burrow, Penei Sewell is the guy.
And that would mean the Bengals would have used 3 of their last 4 first-round picks on the offensive line there in Cincinnati. A look here at picks 1 through 8, and MJD's mixing it up after the Dolphins take wide receiver Jamar Chase. A trade. The Patriots pull up to draft a quarterback, and it's this guy right here, Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. We've seen Mac Jones now get inserted in this conversation. How he sees the game, how he processes things could fit in with the Kyle Shanahan offense.
Jones steps up, going deep again. Man out there again. It's Mechie. Touchdown, Alabama.
Well protected again. Jones waddles. Gets behind the defenders for another touchdown.
I know a lot of people who are plugged in, and everything we keep coming back to is Mac Jones is going to be the number 3 pick. Might not like it, you might not love it, but it's coming.
Trade alert. I didn't even know this was allowed. How exciting. Nike, Belichick making power moves, MJD making power moves. Walk me through this trade here for Mac Jones at 7.
Well, I feel like this offseason, the Patriots have been so aggressive in building up their roster that they're going to continue that in the draft. And you trade for a guy like Mac Jones. When the Patriots have had success, it's been with pocket passers, Drew Bledsoe, obviously Tom Brady. So I know they love the Cam Newton experiment, but I just don't know how this is going to work. You have the connection with Saban and Belichick, and to me, Mac Jones fits what they want to do. He's a pocket passer, gets the ball out on time, and he throws it to guys that are open. Why not have that guy be your quarterback after a year or two?
I mean, look, it's been perfect for him down in Alabama. He does a great job of distributing the rock to a talent cast of playmakers. He can do exactly what you want to do in terms of playing the game like a joystick. You know, if you're a gamer and you just want him to do certain things, he can do that. I worry about trading up for a guy who I don't see has special ability to fix plays that are broken. But maybe the Patriots have fixed their offensive line and they upgraded personnel, and maybe this works in Bill Belichick's mind.
This move.
Yeah, they have one of the better offensive lines in football. I love the offensive line they have there, Colleen. Sorry about that. But to me, to kind of piggyback Buck, that coffee's just a little bit too rich for me to part with picks to go all the way up there for Mac Jones.
It does, MJD and DJ and Bucky. As MJD mentioned, it feels very on brand for this Patriots offseason. This pick, moving up, trading up for a quarterback. Keep the YOLO moves coming. I'm into it. We have some good ones on the way. MJD, go ahead. You got more?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think Bill Belichick saw what life was like without Tom Brady and weapons. And so why not try to go get a pocket passer that will do exactly what you want him to do? There is no, I'm going to be running all over the place and all that. No. Stand in the pocket at 7 to 8 yards and deliver it to the open guy. Very simple. We've won Super Bowls with it. Let's keep doing it.
Mac Jones, ready to get it done there for the Patriots in New England. We have some more really fun picks on the way for you guys. MJD's Mock 2.0 next on Mock Draft Live. 8 picks down, and still no sign of North Dakota's Trey Lance. We'll tell you who trades up. Another trade to take the quarterback after this.
Play action, rolling right, on the run, flush, throws on the run, caught! Touchdown! Lance play action, taking a shot for Watson, back corner of the end zone, caught! Touchdown! Here comes pressure, steps up, another shot, has a man open, it's Mathis, caught! Make the jet sweep, Lance up the middle, angling through across midfield, breaks a tackle, there goes Trey, in the open field, a stiff arm, 20, 10, Trotter the baby! Touchdown!
We have another trade alert right out the gate here on Mock Draft Live, and it's Washington jumping up for quarterback Trey Lance, MJD.
Yeah, well, listen, if you're going to be aggressive and try to win the division like they did last year with Alex Smith being banged up and multiple quarterbacks playing, why not be aggressive in the draft and go get you a guy that can win you multiple divisions down the road? I think Trey Lance fits everything that they want, the size, the stature, the athleticism, the throw power, the arm talent, all those things that they're looking for. You can continue to build pieces around him and have him sit while Ryan Fitzpatrick continues to help him grow like he did with Tua. To me, it just makes too much sense. That's what this mock draft's about, making sense. Make it make sense, DJ, Bucky, somebody please help me out.
Well, this was like a fire alarm going off for me because this is a fire pick here for you, MJD, to steal one of your terms. I love this move for the Washington football team. Look, Ron Rivera values quarterbacks that value the football. Trey Lance doesn't turn it over. He's an excellent decision maker. He can create and make things happen with his legs. I think this marries up very well with the philosophy of how they want to win football games there in Washington. I love it.
Yeah, DJ,
and the NFC East, yeah. That's great, Bucky, right?
Yeah, I mean, DJ, you talk about this fit with Ron Rivera and Trey Lance. I think it reminds him a little bit of Cam Newton, but without all the other stuff that Cam Newton brought in terms of the pizzazz. This is a guy that takes care of the football. He enhances the run game. He certainly can get down off that play action passing game. And with the defense that's set up the way the Washington football team is, you just need a guy who can manage it and get it to the winner's circle. Trey Lance has already proven that he can do those things.
And with all you guys have said, let's continue to remember the Washington football team's defense is one of the top in the league, and they're going to continue only to get better. So why not add a guy that doesn't turn the ball over to help you win the way you want to? They like to win those 6-3 games, maybe 13-3 now. I don't know, but you'll get an opportunity to win more games with Trey Lance.
That's just wrong. A North Dakota State quarterback back in the division. It's a requirement there with Carson Wentz gone. A weird requirement, but rules are rules. So 5 quarterbacks in the top 10. That would be a first. I'm waiting for the defense to get drafted here. Here we go. Picks 9 through 16. The pendulum swings back to the defensive side of the ball. Aside from the wide receivers you see there, Jaylen Waddle, DeVonta Smith there going to the Giants and Eagles respectively. But I love how this Washington trade means that the division's picks are all in a row, 9 through 12. Out of those picks, Lance to Washington, Patrick Surtain to the Cowboys, and then the receivers that I just mentioned going to the Giants and the Eagles. Buck, what's your favorite fit in the entire division?
Oh, we got to go to Big D, Dallas. I'm always going to talk about America's team. Patrick Surtain being able to be the new lockdown corner in Dallas. You pair him opposite Trayvon Diggs. Then they have 2 young corners that can grow in Dan Quinn's system. And understand this, his skill set enables him to play in Dan Quinn's system. He not only can press, he can play off. He has great vision. He's tough. He'll tackle. He's physical. He's a perfect fit for what the Cowboys wanted to corner.
And Bucky, I don't think any system, this Seattle cover 3 system, has had 2 shutdown corners on each side. Why not, if you're Dallas, be the first one to do it? Because guess what? You have to go through that NFC, and there's so many tough receivers there that you don't have to have guys switch sides. I just thought it would be a perfect opportunity for Dallas to fix that defense and get back on track.
DJ, do you agree with Bucky's favorite fit, or do you have one of your own?
Well, I like that fit a lot, but I'm going to go to the Giants for my absolute favorite because to me, you win in this league with explosive plays. Trying to play, kind of station-to-station baseball doesn't really work. You've got to get chunks. And Jaylen Waddle to the Giants, to me, he's the best home run hitter in the draft. And to go along with that, he's somebody that I thought early this year before he got hurt, I saw route polish. I saw him improve as a route runner. And he's also the most dynamic returner in the entire draft. So some big-time juice is going to help you evaluate Daniel Jones. That's my favorite pick for MJD there in the NFC East.
Yeah, well, DJ, this is the thing. Before he got hurt, he was kind of the #1 guy at Alabama. He was a guy that was making all the big plays and doing all the things. So for me, it's like you get a #1 receiver on the top team in the country at 11. Why not? And then Colleen, at the end of the day, I'm always going to take care of your Eagles. I gave them a pick of a guy who won the Heisman, so you don't have to worry about him not being able to perform because he was actually the best player in college football last year.
This is why I appreciate you, MJD. I know you're always looking out. I got nothing but love for you. Amazing. All right, let's get back to the mock here. Enough about the NFC East. Chargers are up on the clock, and it's not a left tackle. It's cornerback J.C. Horn, MJD.
Well, this is all about the head coach. And when you watch J.C. Horn, he reminds you a lot of Jalen Ramsey. He reminds you of a guy that can play that star position in that Brandon Staley defense. And so for me, if you have a defensive coach, you're always going to try to fix your baby first and then move on. I think Horn, just the way he covered Pitts, the way he's covered other receivers in the SEC shows that he is a top-notch defender.
Yeah, with those first 3 picks for the Chargers, I think you want to address offensive line, corner, and then maybe another offensive weapon. So you fill one of those big needs right here with J.C. Horn, plug-and-play starter, no doubt.
Cornerback, a priority for LA, especially with Chris Harris Jr. set to become a free agent after this season. Now, I've seen J.C. Horn mocked a lot to this next team we're about to talk about here, the Cardinals, who at 16 take the next top corner available, Caleb Farley.
Well, listen, Colleen, in February, I got a chance to train in Miami, and I actually trained with Caleb Farley. And the way to see his size and the way he moves, it was crazy to see that. Yes, he has some injuries here, but guess who just left the Cardinals? You talk about Patrick Peterson. You have a guy like this who would be a top 10 pick if he didn't have health concerns. He falls to you at 16. You have to take him, right? You have to fill that void. I think that's what you're going to start to see as we go through this mock draft. A lot of teams just filling voids of guys that just left.
Yeah, I like the pick because it does give the Cardinals a big athletic playmaker to put on the island. Patrick Peterson is no longer there. He's now with the Minnesota Vikings. They need someone that can fill that void. I'm not quite ready to call Caleb Farley Patrick Peterson 2.0, but he certainly has some intriguing skills. Gets his hands on the ball. He's long. He's versatile with the techniques that he uses, and he's competitive. That gives him a chance to be a star at the next level.
Patrick Peterson was the last time that they drafted a first-round corner, so the glow up there begins for the secondary in Arizona. I can't believe we're through 16 picks and no running backs are off the board yet. MJD, I don't even know you. Wait a second, I'm getting word things are about to change. MJD's 2 first-round running backs are drafted straight ahead. Welcome back to Mock Draft Live. The Raiders are up, and MJD's selecting a linebacker for his former fam.
Oh, yes, Colleen. This is all about the Raiders fixing this linebacking core. They tried to do it in free agency. Now they're going to go back in the draft, and with the addition of Gus Bradley as a defensive coordinator, you get a run-and-hit linebacker who can cover, and it's very athletic. When I played for the Jaguars and Gus Bradley was the head coach, he liked young, fast linebackers. Here, Owosu Kamore was going to be that guy for him.
Yeah, he can also, some teams even going to view him as a strong safety. He can cover like crazy. You can be your big nickel. There's so many different things he can do for your defense. And I'm with you. Haven't seen Gus Bradley with the Chargers the last few years. Your linebackers, they better be able to cover. This kid can.
The Raiders defense needs all the love and attention they could get this offseason. 17 picks down. We've waited long enough. Show me the first running back off the board in MJD's mock.
Jones dumps it down. Catch made by Najee Harris, who makes a cut, breaks a tackle, and barrels into Ohio State territory. And running behind a linebacker, Najee Harris barrels in, rushing touchdown.
Hurdling is Harris, and now running down the sideline. deep in Irish territory.
Bubble screen. Big shot delivered. Harris just absorbed that blow. Lobs it to Harris. Gets around Borland and leaps to the end zone. A hat trick for Najee Harris.
It's a glorious Alabama reunion for Najee Harris and Tua Tagovailoa in Miami, MJD. I love what you're doing here.
Well, this is the thing, Colleen. I actually got a chance to coach against Najee Harris in high school, and to see the way he's progressed now to college and then now to the NFL, he's only gotten better. You talk about a traditional workhorse, a guy who could take 25 to 30 touches a game. And when I say touches, you can line this young man up at wide receiver, and he'll run routes better than some of the wide receivers. And if you're the Dolphins, everything is about helping Tua out, just like the Giants and all these other young teams. You want to help your young quarterback out. You get him a workhorse that can carry the load and have him facing 8-man boxes.
I like this fit. I think he fits beautifully with what they want to do. He'll actually take some pressure off of Tua, which I love. But I'll be honest with you, MJD, the first running back at 18, I would have lost a lot of money on that. I thought this would have been a conversation we would have had about 30 minutes ago.
This came shockingly late. I think we're all surprised by this. Another team with 2 first-round picks, the Jets, is another team that goes running back, though, in the first, and it's Travis Etienne joining Zach Wilson there in New York.
Well, again, this is about scheme fit. And you talk about the Shanahan system with LaFleur running it there in New York. He wants a one-cut runner. And when you watch Travis Etienne and the way he's explosive, he puts his foot in the ground, all those things, he fits what the Jets want to do, what the Niners wanted to do, what the Packers want to do, what the Rams want to do, these outside zone guys who can break tackles and take it the distance. He reminds me a ton of Raheem Mostert, who they had in the Niners, with his ability to break the long run. And I think this, if you get a young quarterback and you pair him with a young running back, you get an opportunity to help this Jets team very quickly.
Yeah, no, I like the fit. You talk about a one-cut runner playing in a system that it requires a disciplined approach from the running back. Etienne has home run ability. He also has more power than we give him credit for. In this system where he has an opportunity to get 18 to 22 carries, I would expect him to put up ridiculous numbers, particularly if he's running behind Mekhi Becton on the left.
Yeah, I think about the screen game, you guys. You talk about the one-cut runner and the outside zone stuff, but to me, he's involved in the passing game, particularly that screen game. Get big Mekhi Becton out in front of him and have some fun.
Keep in mind, too, the Jets pick again early in the second round, 34th overall. So they have a lot of interesting options with this pick. But let's jump back into the mock here. The Broncos selection in their new slot at 19 after trading down. And MJD, they still get a tackle.
Yeah, well, you get a right tackle. This is all about protecting Drew Lock and your young weapons on the outside. The Broncos have went very young. Why go get a left tackle and have to make him move over? Why not just go draft a right tackle on the top in the game to be able just to plug and play? The Broncos they need to be in win now mode here very quickly, and this guy here just seems to be a perfect fit for them.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a mauler brawler on the edge. He throws people around. And you also get an opportunity to get Mayfield with one of the best O-line coaches in football, and Mike Munchak. I think you will see his game go from good to great if he has an opportunity to play in Mile High.
And Denver's Mayfield would get a front row seat to watch Baker Mayfield when the Broncos play the Browns this season. One game, twice the Mayfields. Pick 17 through 24 in MJD's newest mock. Marinade in it for a second. In this simulation, the Bears go with cornerback Greg Newsome II. The first defensive tackle is drafted, Christian Darrisaw to Indy. And the Titans go with Gregory Rousseau to improve that pass rush, a very necessary move. Up next on Mock Draft Live, Packers fans always want a playmaker for Aaron Rodgers. Well, MJD is giving them one in his mock, but it's probably not who you're thinking about. After this, Green Bay is on the clock. Mock Draft Live continues on, and MJD's OG squad is back on the clock, taking a safety this time around for Jacksonville.
Well, Colleen, it's not many times that you get to coach a kid in high school and then you get to talk about him here in the NFL and his playing ability. Jaylen Holland, to me, is probably the best defensive player in the draft, and I'll tell you why. Because of guys like Kyle Pitts, because of Darren Waller, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, you need safeties that can cover and also play the run. Well, Jaylen Holland does all that. He can play single high safety that like Earl Thomas. He can play in the box like Cam Chancellor. He can cover at corner. He can cover at nickel. All these things, as we see him, all these highlights, to me, if you're a defense like the Jags who are rebuilding and trying to fix it and you have some holes, you have a guy that can fill everything.
You got somebody that can find and play the football. So not only that versatility, but you also get the ball skills to go along with it. So I think they're going to be able to heat up quarterbacks. So get some guys in the back end that can find and play the ball. I like that one.
Jaylen Holland, get him on your radar now. You've all been warned. On to the 26th pick, and it's the draft's hometown team. Cleveland selects Michigan's own Kwity Paye, MJD.
Well, again, this is all about Cleveland's defense and trying to get better. They want pass rush here, so I know they're trying to get Jadeveon Clowney, but why not get this young man? And as DJ says, one of the more explosive pass rushers in the draft. You get him on the other side of Myles Garrett, and all of a sudden you have a tandem and a rotation that can get to the quarterback.
Yeah, MJD, it's all about the rotation. Kwity Paye is one of the more explosive athletes in the class, and then you think about him being able to settle into one position where he can really hone his craft as a pass rusher. He certainly flashes big-time ability. Man, if he becomes a more refined technician, he could be a guy that becomes a star at the next level.
270, ran a 4.54. He's fast, joining forces there with Myles Garrett. That would be a problem for quarterbacks no matter what the rotation is. So how about a quarterback who never gets a first-round wide receiver? Aaron Rodgers, he lucks out this year, and it's a wideout we aren't seeing in a lot of other first-round mocks. Purdue's Rondale Moore, MJD?
Well, Colleen, this goes back to me and Bucky in our high school days. Rondale Moore was a five-star recruit. He chose Purdue over the likes of Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, some big schools. And so you get a young playmaker who can do everything that you want him to do. If you want fly sweeps, he can do that. You want him to play in the slot, he can do that. You want him to be the deep threat, he can do that with his 4.3, 4.2 40 that he ran and his 47-inch vertical and all these different things. He's a playmaker. And when you look at the Packers and what they're trying to do offensively, this guy makes it easier on Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams because of all the versatile things that he can do.
I know what this is. This is not just MJD's mock draft. This is a personal shot at me because when MJD was coming out of UCLA, I didn't give him a high grade because I said he was short and I worried about it. So now he wants to say Rondale Moore is height challenged, but he still can be a first-round pick because he's talented. I understand what this is. He's trying to buck the system, the scouting system that I grew up in.
Yeah, I agree with you, Buck. I was going to say the exact same things. I mean, to me, I love Rondale Moore as a player. I think he probably goes in the second round, but I think we're on a show with a guy who went in the second round who belonged in the first round, and he's just going to take it out on all of us. And so this is a way for him to enter into that conversation he's been dying to have.
Well, listen, guys, to be honest with you, he reminds me of Steve Smith Sr. Why wouldn't I take a Steve Smith Sr. in the first round? Why wouldn't I do all these type of things? He can return kicks and punts. He can help my team be better, possibly not go to another NFC Championship game, but just go to the Super Bowl. Because you know what? Big things come in small packages, and you guys know that.
There it is.
And you know that.
I was just waiting. It's
therapeutic to admit it. Just let it out. I'm still kind of in shock that the Packers would draft a skill player on night one. It's a new era in Green Bay, something we haven't seen since 2002. That brings us to the final bracket of MJD's first round mock draft, 25 through 32. Defensively leaning here, aside from the two wide receivers going to Baltimore and Green Bay, and offensive tackle Alijah Vera-Tucker, the newest members of Bills Mafia, according to the mock. But let's take a closer look at a few of these players here in MJD's freshest mock draft with former NFL GM Scott Pioli. Best background in the biz, Scott. Now listen, it's great to see you first of all, but let's start with MJD's top bombshell here. The Patriots trading up to take Mac Jones.
Colleen, I'm not a big fan of trading up and giving away picks, but in this circumstance, I love what MJD did here because the Patriots do need a quarterback that is developmental and the future of their franchise. So this move up would give Bill Belichick everything that he's looking for in a developmental quarterback. He has the tools, he has the makeup, he has so many things that Bill Belichick loves: work ethic, work habits, decision making, and he's coming from an Alabama program that he knows extremely well, and that Alabama program is truly an organization. So he already has the professional and personal lifestyles that are going to be low maintenance for a coach like Bill Belichick. He's incredibly accurate. So to me, I love MJD's thought on this. Not sure if it'll happen, but I love it if it's going to happen.
Mac and Cam, they could be fast friends in New England. They even have the same name, the same first name, just spelled backwards. I stared at this mock for probably too long last night. Scott, how about MJD's top target from Alabama, DeVonta Smith, who he has going to the Eagles?
Yeah, surprisingly, this may be something that really happens, Colleen. I find it very hard to believe that he'll last this long. But as I'm talking to people around the league, there are people that are concerned about his frame, about his potential durability, and his overall bulk. But to me, I'm not worried about these things. He's a dynamic athlete. He's a tremendous player with rare tools, good route running, incredible ball skills, and incredible tracking ability. So if this player's sitting there at 12, I would absolutely love to see the Eagles jump on him. You know, so many people concerned about his size and his potential ability versus the press, but if there's a good offensive coordinator and a good coach, they will make sure that they're using him in move situations to make sure that he doesn't have to worry about press. So if DeVonta Smith lasts this long, I would absolutely jump on him, and I think it would be a steal at this particular pick.
Eagles fans, behold a Heisman-winning wide receiver there in Philadelphia. I think the fans would enjoy that for sure. Finally, the true New York team, the Bills, adding protection and insurance there for Josh Allen with USC's Alijah Vera-Tucker. So what's your Vera-Tucker take, Scott?
My take on him, Colleen, is that he played tackle this year for USC, but has been a guard in the past, and to me, he is more of an inside player. I understand that he had 400 snaps on their COVID-shortened season this year, but again, I think he played there because he was the best offensive lineman they had. When you look at his tools and his skills and what he's best at, he's more suited to be an inside player. But I do think that there's a chance that he does have position versatility with the fact that he can play either guard and has the potential to actually play center. Now, that's a difficult thing to do, but I think he's smart enough, he's certainly tough enough, and he has the body density and the ballast, that I like to call it, to play inside. Very good player, but I think his best football would be played if you were playing inside rather than the left tackle.
Scott, another A-plus round of scouting reports. Perhaps next week we'll finally start calling them scouting reports. It's really the only way forward that I see from here. Until next time, thank you so much, Scott. MJD's first round mock, it is finished, but he's got more guys to get on your radar. Day 2 sleepers right after this. MJD, we promised day 2 sleepers, so give the people what they came here for.
Well, look, Jaret Patterson's a guy out of the University of Buffalo that scored 19 touchdowns in 6 games. He just has a nose for the end zone, great lower center of gravity, great contact balance, and he has terrific vision. The other thing is it's hard to get a hit on him. As you can see here, he's able to slide through some tackles, and it's what you when you do more with less. All right, a guy that goes to the University of Buffalo, you're not playing with the best players, and then it's also who you're coached by. Sometimes you got to be coached by greatness. That's your boy on the right. Watch this throw. See, he gets out of the break. Right there. The one thing about Jaret Patterson I'll tell you is this. He loves football. I mean, he was blowing my phone up when we were down there in Miami training. I'm a little tired because I'd been training all day. But as you see here, I mean, this guy's a workhorse. I think he's going to be a steal for somebody day 2.
Yeah, first 2 games I watched on him was Kent State. He went for 409, 8 touchdowns in that game, and then 4 touchdowns and 301 against Bowling Green. But I don't want to bury the lead because that quarterback we just saw on the screen right there, that was like Patrick Mahomes who'd been left in the dryer too long.
Whoa. You could have stopped with the last stuff. It was Patrick Mahomes-like, yes. I don't know about the dryer and all that. All right, the next one for me, guys, is going to be Josh Palmer. And this is the reason I say that. He goes to the University of Tennessee. He doesn't really have a quarterback that's throwing the ball, so he doesn't have the stats and the numbers. But when he got to the Senior Bowl and DJ, you and Bucky were there, he dominated. He dominated this. And I think, for me, a guy that can make these type of plays over and over and over again, and you put that guy in the system with a really good quarterback, he might mess around and be your #1 receiver here as a rookie. And as we all know, these receivers are coming out way more advanced than they did when I came out.
You know, one of the best ball catchers in the draft. He does a great job of adjusting the balls that they're throwing all over the map. Tremendous route runner. He has a chance, man. He's a really good player.
All right, my day 2 steal is going to be Christian Barmore. And this is the thing. The reason I call it day 2 steal is because we don't see a lot of D tackles who aren't pass rushers, who aren't 3 techniques that can get to the quarterback. And just like we saw with A'Shawn Robinson and Jaron Reed out of the University of Alabama, who dominated, they fell to the second round because they don't have the pass rushing ability. As we see here, Barmore continues to get sacks.
Yeah, up and down player, kind of a boom or bust, but man, the ability is there. He is very talented. I think he's got a chance to be a big hit there in the second round. I think that's when he comes off the board.
Well, we know no one is sleeping on their fantasy draft this year, right? Sure, you got time, but nobody likes a procrastinator. Marcus Grant is here to help with some fantasy takes on MJD's mock draft. So let's start with a rookie quarterback baseline here. Quarterbacks are always a little tricky, Marcus. Where are you on Trevor Lawrence's fantasy value?
Well, I mean, you can't help but love Trevor Lawrence just with what we have seen, obviously, during his time at Clemson. Right now, I've got him just outside my top 12 in a lot of redraft leagues, but he's a guy who could really put together a season like we saw with Justin Herbert last year. We know about the arm talent, plus he has that running ability that we really covet from quarterbacks. I like his pass catchers with DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault. They added Marvin Jones. He will be drafted in pretty much every league, but he might not be a every-week starter, at least not at the beginning of the season.
You know, Marcus, I definitely agree with you. I think he'll be a streaming quarterback. My only concerns are this. Will they use him more in the red zone as a runner, or will they allow him to throw the ball a little bit? And again, we know in the NFL, running quarterbacks don't last that long. So I know from inside the building, they're talking about making sure that they protect him a ton. It's going to be important to get him a couple tight ends as well throughout this draft, or in the back end in like the second round of free agency here in May, to make sure that he has some safety or some teddy bears he can throw the ball to.
Guaranteed, regardless here, my buddy Wax takes him way too high. We all have a Wax in our leagues out there. What about a Jets running back here, Marcus? I shudder a little bit at Jets running back fantasy value, but it's Travis Etienne, and it's a brand new era there with the Jets.
I mean, we're hoping it's a brand new era there, right, with the Jets. What you love about this fit is that you're talking about a running back who really can be a 3-down type of back in a situation where they are looking for a guy who can play all 3 downs. So that is the fit right there. The only thing that worries me is whether or not the Jets can open holes for him or get him out in space, because I think he's going to need a little bit of help with that. But his pass catching ability, we live in a PPR world. He is a PPR machine because of his ability to catch the football. I'm just hoping that the Jets can scheme something up to really get him open and let him use that breakaway speed.
Well, Marcus, let me tell you, this was purely a fantasy pick for me. I put him there because I thought it's a perfect fit. I think that Kyle Shanahan run offense, he's going to be a one-cut runner. That's what we saw at Clemson. He puts his foot in the ground. He accelerates. they create holes by their scheme, not necessarily by their players. And so for me, I think if the Jets can get this guy there to help with Zach Wilson, you have Corey Davis on the outside, you can kind of get this offense rolling a little bit, maybe some later picks down the road.
I want to trust again. I really do. I just don't know if I'm ready yet. I need to see a little bit more before I'm ready. Here's an interesting one, though, Marcus. Rondale Moore to the Packers. Hit it or quit it with the draft button. What are you doing with him?
I think I give it a shot. I mean, the Packers are looking for another wide receiver to complement DeVonta Adams. I mean, having DeVonta be really the only target in Green Bay has been great for fantasy, but I know the Green Bay Packers want more than that. Moore is not the typical receiver, though, that they go after. He's not a big body guy, kind of a smaller guy, but his speed, his ability to run routes will help him be a great slot receiver. And I just think there are targets there to be had. So this could actually work out. This could be sort of a Randall Cobb 2.0 kind of thing with what he fits in the Packer offense.
Well, Marcus, do you see these highlights? You see how many different ways you can get him the ball? To me, Rondale Moore not only runs a 4.29 his 40, he was dominant at Purdue. And to me, you find a way to get him the ball in space. You add that other weapon outside of DeVonta Adams. You can do fly sweeps. You can put him at running back. You can line him in the slot and get a ton of targets. To me, you talk about PPR monster. That's what he's going to be. And then there's, like you said, there's enough targets to go around, and they need another receiver that will not drop the ball. When he's healthy, he can play.
A lot to file away in preparation for all of the drafts in the coming months. Thank you, Marcus, our fantasy expert, my fantasy doula, so breathing exercises for your league's draft. Maybe that will be next week. Maybe we'll do that. Thank you again, my friend. Next on Mock Draft Live, we put a cap on the draft for real. Bucky and DJ with the final verdict on MJD's Mock 2.0 coming up. You guys feel that? Time is flying, just over 2 weeks away from Cleveland rocking the 2021 NFL Draft. Don't miss a second of it. Thursday, April 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Lock in for the first round when the Jags kick off at number 1. And watch the rest of the entire NFL Draft unfold right here on NFL Network. Now it's time for Cap on the Draft presented by New Era. I want to get some final impressions here of MJD's mock. So DJ, you're up first.
Look, for me, Colleen, I love the running back fits that MJD had. No surprise there. That's his forte. That's his business, and he nailed it to me. With Travis Etienne with the Jets, with Najee Harris with the Dolphins, I think both those guys plug in and they help young quarterbacks. So I love those two fits. Well done, MJD.
Well, DJ, you said it best. Like, I know where guys need to go. You know what I mean? I know what teams need running backs. And to be honest, this draft is top heavy at the running back position. So if you're going to get them, you better get them early, because I think later in the rounds, you're not going to be able to get that fifth like Aaron Jones and other guys that have excelled in the National Football League.
You know, what I liked about your draft, MJD, was the fact that you paired Trey Lance with the Washington football team. I think it's a great fit. DJ didn't get a chance to make this point. He talked about it when we were off the air, but he talked about Trey Lance and Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb in his prime, and I do see some of those similarities. So you take a guy who is an outstanding playmaker, a guy who's a terrific runner, who has big-time ability as a passer, and you put him in an offense where he's surrounded by weapons, Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, rebuilding that offensive line. I think you have a chance because he's played winning football at a high level at North Dakota State. They have a defense that can win. When you think about a team that has championship aspirations, Trey Lance will certainly take him one step closer to that.
Well, Bucky,
Gold
I
stars
appreciate
for
that.
MJD.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Bucky. I was going to say, like, I thought you were going to talk about the aggressive nature that I had the football team jump all the way up to 9 to go ahead and get their quarterback. I think, again, listen, this league, there's certain teams that want to win. There's certain teams that want to rebuild. And if you're a team that wants to win like the Washington football team, you have to be aggressive to get your guys.
Yeah, look, to sum it all up, MJD's take on his own mock draft was like Bigger and McCracken. You know who's great? Me. That's just, that's the kind of confidence he brings to the mock draft business.
That's the confidence we need around here. That's the confidence we love here on NFL Network, especially with these mock drafts and Mock Draft Live. That was Cap on Draft presented by New Era. No cap, guys. This was a lot of fun today. MJD, it's been way too long. Excellent mock. Bucky, DJ, tremendous work per usual. We'll be back next week with more Mock Madness. Good Morning Football's Peter Schrager is up with his second mock. That's next Tuesday right here. Lock it in. Don't be late.